Mischievous, calculating, and enigmatic, Mephisto Pheles from Blue Exorcist is one of anime's ultimate puppet master. As the demon king of time, he's a character of contradictions, an observer, a schemer, and an avid participant in the human world. Through centuries of careful manipulation, Mephisto has planted seeds that may or may not grow into his envisioned future. But even for someone with immense foresight, humanity's unpredictability keeps him both amused and invested. In this video, we'll break down Mephisto's pivotal actions in Blue Exorcist, exploring his layered personality, cryptic motivations, and moral ambiguity. Spoilers ahead, I'll go through the events in chronological order, so stop where you're at if needed, but proceed with caution. Mephisto is first introduced after Father Fujimoto's death, where he is revealed to be the only contact in Rin's cell phone, a fact Fujimoto left behind as a clue. Upon Rin's awakening as the son of Satan, Mephisto is dispatched by the True Cross Order, along with other exorcists, to eliminate him. However, rather than killing Rin, Mephisto confronts him with a choice. 1. Kill. 2. Be killed. Or 3. Take his own life. Rin surprises Mephisto by refusing all these options and instead declares that he wants to join the Exorcist to avenge Fujimoto and defeat Satan. Intrigued by Rin's bold resolve, Mephisto laughs and agrees to take him in, much to the dismay of other exorcists who view Rin as a threat. This sets the stage for Rin's journey as an exorcist while immediately establishing Mephisto's unpredictable nature, serving neither purely good nor evil intentions. He is not afraid to defy the expectations of the True Cross Order, but his reasons for doing so remain unclear. At True Cross Academy, Mephisto's eccentricities shine. Transforming into a dog to guide Rin, he enforces rules with flair, giving Rin a magical key to navigate the campus, but imposing strict secrecy about his demon lineage. Despite his flamboyance, Mephisto watches Rin's development closely, testing his limits. When Rin releases a horde of goblins in class, for example, Mephisto observes from the shadows, smirking at the chaos. But Mephisto's manipulative brilliance takes center stage during the X-Wire examination. He allows demons into the academy, shocking the students who are unaware they're being tested. Professors secretly evaluate their abilities, and Mephisto, with his signature grin, assures everyone that the chaos was intentional. This moment highlights his belief in controlled disorder as a tool to foster growth. When the results are announced, Mephisto promotes all participants to X-Wires, marking their progress while concealing his ulterior motives. Behind the scenes, however, he orchestrates events to ensure Rin faces challenges that pushes him closer to his destiny. Mephisto's interaction with his younger brother Amaimon, the King of Earth, become an important subplot very early on in Blue Exorcist. While Amaimon's violent tendencies make him a blunt instrument for his plans, Mephisto's calculated schemes position him as a master strategist who doesn't hesitate in manipulating both humans, the Order, and demons alike. As Mephisto stands atop a half-finished building, gazing over the shimmering city lights of Asia, the human world, he is greeted by Amaimon. Without wasting time, Mephisto inquires about their father Satan's response to his proposal. Amaimon confirms that Satan has accepted. At this point, the audience isn't aware of what Mephisto has asked Satan. Yet, a devilish grin spreads across Mephisto's face as he expresses satisfaction, declaring this to be a promising development. He then instructs Amaimon to inform Satan that Rin is under his personal care and that everything is progressing just as planned. When Amaimon questions whether Mephisto intends to return to the demon world, Mephisto brushes off the suggestion with nonchalance, advising his brother not to keep their father waiting. As Amaimon departs, Mephisto remains atop the building, savoring the chaotic beauty of Asia. With a sly grin, he then declares that for a libertine like him, there could be no better playground.
戻らないと私のような放蕩者にとってこんな愉快なおもちゃ箱はないからな。
Indeed, to Mephisto, Asia is not merely a world to inhabit, but a stage for his elaborate schemes, a perfect balance of unpredictability and control where his plans can unfold in endlessly fascinating ways. The real fun is only just beginning, he muses, hinting at the intricate plots he has yet to reveal. This setup leads directly into Maimon's arrival at the Academy Forest District, where Mephisto orchestrates another trial for Rin. As the training camp begins, Mephisto sends a Maimon to test Rin's strength and resolve. Hovering above the forest on his transformed umbrella, Mephisto oversees the confrontation, ensuring that a Maimon won't go too far. In his typically playful but pointed tone, he warns his brother that if he tries to kill even one student, he'll slaughter him personally. A Maimon provokes Rin into a fierce battle, targeting his vulnerabilities by yoinking on his tail. Observing from above, Mephisto comments, "A demon's tail is one of their weakest points, but so is their heart." This moment encapsulates Mephisto's duality as both an observer and a manipulator. While the fight unfolds, he uses this as an opportunity to push Rin towards greater self-awareness and challenging him to confront his desires and choose between the middle path of humanity or his demonic instincts. As the battle escalates, a Maimon threatens Rin's friends and pushes him towards losing control of his flames. Mephisto watches carefully, only stepping in when the destruction begins to spiral beyond his liking. Unable to calm a Maimon down, Mephisto resorts to imprisoning him in a massive cuckoo clock, showcasing his overwhelming power. By bringing a Maimon in Asia, Mephisto is already setting up the pieces for his play. He knows that a Maimon has a larger part to play in the wars to come. Mephisto's character draws heavily from Goethe's Faust. I mean, they even have the same name. In that story, the character of Mephisto Pheles, which represents Satan, makes a bet with God about whether he can lure Faust away from his righteousness. And then he goes on and tempts Faust with power and knowledge, ultimately aiming to claim his soul. Similarly, Mephisto in Blue Exorcist thrives on making bets that blur the line between salvation and damnation. For instance, when Mephisto is brought before the Grigori after Rin's powers are revealed, he proposes a bold wager. Like the Mephisto Pheles of Faust, he frames the situation as a bet. Will this child of Satan become a demon lord of Gehenna, or will he become humanity's savior? His proposal places Rin's fate squarely in the hands of free will, a key theme in both Faust and Blue Exorcist. Mephisto's deals often seem self-serving, but they reflect his larger philosophical belief. The struggle between light and darkness, good and evil, is essentially for growth. His actions are not just about sowing chaos, but exploring the possibilities that arise when individuals confront their limitations and their desires. And we will see these actions reflected time and time again throughout the story. For example, during the Kyoto Impure King arc, Rin loses control of his flames again, prompting the Vatican to demand his execution. Mephisto, ever the schemer, provides cloaks that allows Rin's friends to rescue him unnoticed. When Rin defeats the Impure King, Mephisto watches from afar, declaring it Rin's birth as the Blue Exorcist. This arc solidifies Mephisto's hands-off yet calculated approach. While his intervention saves Rin, it's ultimately a test of his ability to harness his demonic power, a crucial step in his journey. In the Academy 7 Wonders arc, Mephisto's true identity is finally revealed to us. Over dinner, he casually announces that he is Samael, the demon king of time and space, and the second most powerful demon after Lucifer. He mentions that over the centuries, he has been called by many names: Loki, Trickster, and even Raven. Mephisto expresses his admiration for humanity's creativity, and particularly Japan's shameless greed for entertainment, which he finds both fascinating and inspiring. He compares humans' imagination and innovation to the magic of demons, confidently predicting that humanity will one day develop technologies capable of fully immersing people into games and animes. We finally start to get some reasoning as to why Mephisto seems to be the only demon that lives in Asia. And I'll even add some insight on the character that Kazue Kato mentioned in an interview. Mephisto plays a lot of video games, she says, but he likes all kind of entertainment. Not to mention that he can stop time, so he can enjoy all the huge RPGs and extended movies and long-running dramas he wants without worrying about the time. Seriously, I'm so jealous. Me too. During this dinner with Rin, he summons a Maimon from the Cuckoo Clock for another battle with Rin, using the confrontation to emphasize Rin's lack of progress. A Maimon easily overpowers Rin's, demonstrating the vast gap between Rin's current abilities and the powers needed to defeat Satan, the ruler of Gehenna. Mephisto underscores this point by reminding Rin that a Maimon is only the 7th strongest demon in Gehenna, while Satan stands above them all. After the battle, Mephisto conjures eyewash drops for Rin's friends and remarks ominously, "I know everything," which is a sentiment often echoed by the other characters throughout the manga, that Mephisto is always aware of everything. He then offers to give Rin the eyewash in exchange for completing a task, of course, warning him that something sinister is approaching Asia. As an artificial Gehenna gate begins to manifest itself in Asia, Mephisto is summoned by the True Cross Order for his assistance. He explains that the gate will continue expanding and ultimately consume Asia. While unable to close it completely, Mephisto forms a temporal barrier around the gate, halting the flow of time inside and delaying the gate's spread for 4 to 5 months. He admits, however, that his powers are not limitless, as even he cannot stop time forever. Later on, it is revealed that Mephisto staked his own body in order to stabilize the gate, so it does feel like Mephisto is capable of great sacrifices in order to preserve humanity. The next chapter offers profound insights into Mephisto's perspective on humanity and their driving desires, a recurring theme in his character arc. Emerging from the shadows, Mephisto muses that humans are driven by 3 fundamental desires. First is the materialistic desire, the insatiable craving for tangible possessions like money, food, clothing, and shelter. The second, sexual desire, which he describes as the simplest to grasp, driven by the instinct to reproduce and ensure survival. However, it's the third desire that Mephisto finds most intriguing, suggesting it holds greater significance than the other 2 combined. When a voice from the darkness sarcastically suggests sleep, Mephisto dismisses it as incorrect. As the voice offers other guesses, fame and love, Mephisto rejects each one, arguing that humanity can endure without fame and that demons exist to counteract love. Finally, Mephisto reveals the third and most crucial desire, the desire for knowledge. He asserts that this is the ultimate human craving, the relentless pursuit to uncover the secrets of the universe. Just like in Goethe's story, where the character of Dr. Faust is driven by an intense desire to gain limitless understanding and power, eventually leading him to make a pact with the devil and incur his demise. However, the voice dismisses the importance of intellect, prompting Mephisto to laugh maniacally at the absurdity of such a notion. He elaborates that every human harbors the desire to be the smartest, to hoard knowledge, and to discover the unknown. This relentless quest defines humanity, driving them to unravel the mysteries of existence. Mephisto then shifts his musing towards deeper questions, pondering the true nature of Asia and Gehenna, the essence of humanity, demonhood, and the very purpose of existence itself. Finally, opening a portal, Mephisto points towards Yukio, one such seeker consumed by his insatiable desire for knowledge. He cryptically informs Yukio that he will be the one to watch over Rin, which prompts Yukio to suspiciously question Mephisto's intentions. Mephisto, though, with a malicious smile, merely hints that it's best to save the excitement for later. Internally, Yukio wrestles with uncertainty, wondering which side Mephisto truly stands on, humanity's or the demons. But this ambiguity is the essence of Mephisto's character. Later, Mephisto cynically comments on humanity's obsession with trivialities, even in the face of impending doom. Despite this, he acknowledges Yukio's thorough investigation into unanswered questions, noting that Yukio is prepared to see the world in stark terms, black and white. And this reflects Mephisto's philosophy. He transcends simplistic notions of good and evil, and operates beyond moral confines. His actions are guided solely by his purpose, regardless of whether they are perceived as good or bad. The end goal is all that matters to him. Mephisto then observes that the boundary between Gehenna and Asya is blurring, making it increasingly difficult to distinguish those fighting for humanity from those aligned with demons. And after all, there are humans within the Illuminati working for demons at this point in the story. And while some demons, like Mephisto himself, seemingly side with humans. As Mephisto watches Rin from afar, the being he's been conversing with in this chapter is finally revealed to be an impaled Amaimon. Amaimon cynically remarks on the futility of it all, noting how fragile human lives are. They're like bubbles, easily burst. Mephisto doesn't respond directly, but decrees that Amaimon will remain trapped in this space and time until he cools off his murderous intents towards Rin Okumura. He cryptically adds that he may have shown Amaimon something quite distasteful, hinting that his trustworthiness may have taken a hit. However, he also admits that even as a demon, he also craves knowledge, pursuing answers that have thus far eluded him. When Amaimon questions his meaning, Mephisto repeats his earlier words to Yukio. It's best to save the excitement for later. He ominously concludes that this thirst for knowledge will ultimately drive them to stay alive, fighting to uncover what lies ahead. And with that, Mephisto fades back into the darkness, leaving both Amaimon and the audience with more questions than answers. We then gain deeper insight into Mephisto's allegiance to humanity during the Shimane Illuminati arc, where the ideological divide between his philosophy and Lucifer's takes center stage. When Izumo Kamiki is abducted by the Illuminati, Lucifer, the leader of the Illuminati and the King of Light, declares war on the True Cross Order. Mephisto then steps in, shielding the students from Lucifer's overwhelming light with his cape, effortlessly protecting them with his usual air of nonchalance. Mephisto then casually greets his brother and inquires about the Illuminati's recent activities. Lucifer reveals his ultimate ambition, reviving Satan and uniting Asya and Gehenna into a single utopia, free from the inequality and suffering. However, Mephisto firmly rejects this vision. To him, the beauty of existence lies in its inherent duality, light and dark, pain and pleasure, chaos and order. He asserts that the coexistence of these opposites is what drives evolution, creativity, and progress, mocking Lucifer's obsession with utopia. Mephisto declares it both impossible and undesirable. Lucifer then offers Mephisto one last chance to join their cause, but Mephisto recoils at the mere thought of it, describing Lucifer's ideals as shameful. He proclaims that to be born atop countless corpses while longing for the heavens and creep about a life of shame is what drives life itself. For Mephisto, peace lies in embracing the tensions between dualities, the very longing for what we do not have. It's the disorder where different things coexist together. When Lucifer questions the necessity of pain and responsibility throughout their existence and notes that most beings aren't as powerful as him, which is unfair, Mephisto dismisses his concerns. He coldly remarks that their values fundamentally differ, signaling the profound ideological clash between the two. As later chapters reveal, this conflict has spanned centuries, with the brothers embodying opposing philosophies. Mephisto champions free will, individuality, and the chaos that fuels creativity and evolution, while Lucifer pursues control, equality, and order, even at the expense of individuality and diversity. And as the Illuminati retreat, Mephisto ominously notes that their actions have weakened the Academy's barrier, hinting at the mounting threat of Gehenna. Throughout Blue Exorcist, Mephisto frequently becomes a target of suspicion and doubt. Characters like Shura, Lightning, Angel, and even the True Cross Order questions his actions and motives. Yet, what makes Mephisto such a compelling character is that he always remains true to his nature, that of a demon. And this sense of not knowing where he stands is intended by the author. In an interview, she says about Mephisto that he's a character who could do anything, and that is reflected in his words and actions too. One minute you think he's being friendly, and the next he seems like the enemy, and it doesn't even feel out of place. At the end of the day, Mephisto is a demon, so even though he has a certain friendliness about him, in the back of your mind, you're always feeling like something's a bit off. In my mind, the demons are kind of emotionless, I guess. It's not like they don't ever feel angry or sad or anything, but those feelings are pretty watered down compared to humans. And to that, the fact that they've been using and abusing their host's body for years and years, and it's almost like a dead guy trying to force a corpse to move around and do things. All the demons who possess humans, Satan, Maimon, Lucifer, and the rest have that in common. They can't escape it, and that influences their motives and actions. This aspect of them is something to pay attention to. Shura, for example, is among those who frequently accuses Mephisto throughout the manga. In one very interesting scene, he reminds her that he won't hesitate to remove her if she tries to interfere with his plans, and reinforcing to both her and the audience that he operates with the detached pragmatism of a demon and that he is ultimately a force to be reckoned with. During the Beyond the Snow arc, Shura once again challenges him, accusing him of orchestrating the chaos as part of a larger scheme. Mephisto coolly observes the change in her demeanor as Shura throws her sword, narrowingly missing him. She threatens him, and Mephisto remarks on her surprising outburst, but remains unbothered. Shura admits she's surprised by her own feelings, however, bitterly adding that a demon like him would never understand. Later in his office, Mephisto summons a doorway and asks if they have calmed down yet. It's soon revealed that he's addressing a Maimon whose he decides to release on the condition that he lives as a rule-abiding student. This decision prompts further suspicion from the cast as they question his true intentions. Much later, Lewin Lightning takes his turn confronting Mephisto, barging into his mansion to question him about Section 13 and the mysterious Moranes contracts, which seems to lack official records. Lewin accuses Mephisto of being personally invested in the experiments to create an immortal body due to his own deteriorating form. Mephisto slips away from Lewin's grasp, reappearing besides the bathtub, and dismisses the accusations as baseless. While he avoids directly answering their questions, he points them towards whether they might uncover the answers themselves. As Mephisto gets stressed, he praises Lewin's sharp instinct, stating it's good to question things with a doubtful eye. And as the investigation unfolds, it's revealed that Section 13 was a secret research facility where illegal human experiments were conducted to create an elixir and clones of demon kings. These experiments, hidden beneath the asylum of the True Cross Academy, were eventually destroyed during the Blue Night. As the clones grow unstable, Mephisto summons Lewin and Suguru back to his mansion. When questioned further about his role in these atrocities, Mephisto denies ties to the Illuminati or Lucifer, asserting that Gehenna's power structure is clear. Lucifer's faction views humanity as hostile, while Mephisto and the True Cross Order works to preserve human-demon cooperation. Mephisto then explains that the Baals, the high-ranking demon kings, were once mere concepts that gained form as human civilization developed. Over time, these concepts were incarnated into physical bodies, an experience that intoxicated the Baals. However, because a demon's regenerative abilities often outpace those of their physical vessel, these bodies would deteriorate rapidly. For exalted kings like Lucifer, this deterioration was unbearable, driving him to lash out at humanity. To combat this, Lucifer launched a destructive campaign against humanity, which Mephisto and his faction eventually opposed. They provided humanity with knowledge and tools to fight demons, laying the foundation for the true cross order and severing all ties with Lucifer. In a flashback, we see Lucifer lamenting the unfairness of his existence during a sort of creepy family dinner. Mephisto tries to reason with him, proposing a solution: the creation of a clone that could stabilize Lucifer's deteriorating body. Lucifer agrees, but the experiment takes a dark turn. The project leads to the creation of clones, one of which becomes possessed by Satan, resulting in the catastrophic events of the Blue Night. Section 13 is destroyed and the survivors seal their involvement with Morina's contracts. Even after the failure, Lucifer continues his relentless research in secret, leaving Mephisto to suspect an insider within the True Cross Order is assisting him. When Lewin presses Mephisto for more answers, he cryptically responds that it's up to them to uncover the truth, and declares that time's up. Later on, Mephisto advises the government as demon activity spirals out of control due to Illuminati's artificial Gehenna Gate. With demons becoming stronger and more visible to humans, he warns that the world will soon uncover the existence of demons. Believing secrecy is no longer an option, Mephisto urges the Prime Minister to act decisively, promising the True Cross Order's full support. A press conference is scheduled, with Mephisto set to address the crisis. But while waiting backstage, Mephisto is confronted by a tense and agitated Yukio. Throwing his identification cards to the floor, Yukio accuses Mephisto of knowing everything about his demonic eyes, which he inherited from Satan. Mephisto dismisses the accusations with mocking nonchalance, referring to Yukio's eyes as a lovely Satan-colored and taunting him further. As Yukio grows more desperate, Mephisto seems to embrace his role as the demon even further, and his demeanor darkens, his face momentarily twisting into something sinister. He coldly brushes off Yukio's demands, declaring that he doesn't have time to accompany children on their journeys of self-discovery. Turning his back on Yukio, Mephisto strides onto the stage, leaving him seething with frustration. Just as the press conference begins, Yukio, spiraling into a mental breakdown, suddenly points his gun at Mephisto. Before anyone can react, the sound of a gunshot rings out. Mephisto is struck and his body collapses onto the floor. The assembly descends into chaos as the audience panics, and security quickly restrains Yukio. Still lying on the floor, he quips to Shura, "You're my security detail, do something!" Shura dismisses him, pointing out that as a demon, he'll regenerate. But as Mephisto tries to rise, blood spills from his mouth and he falters. "I must be weaker than I thought," he mutters, realizing his body's deterioration is compromising the barrier around the Gehenna Gate. With the barrier failing, Mephisto warns that the gate will soon fully open, unleashing a catastrophic flood of demons into Asia. Despite the chaos, Mephisto muses calmly to himself, marveling at Yukio's unpredictability. This scenario has never played out like this before. You never know what humans will do. That's why they're so fascinating. For the first time, the self-proclaimed king of time, who claims to know and predict everything, is suddenly caught off guard. As his barriers crumble, demons pour out of the gate, signaling the start of chaos that could tip the balance between Asia and Gehenna. But even while unconscious and recovering from his injuries, Mephisto continues to pull strings. While Yukio is detained by the True Cross Order, Mephisto enlists a Maimon to create a diversion, giving Rin and his friends the opportunity to escape from the Order's prison. As the battle between Rin and Yukio intensifies and Satan begins to manifest through Yukio's flames, Mephisto awakens, sensing his father's presence. With his trademark flair, he declares that he almost slept through the greatest show of all, fully embracing what's to come. After Rin recovers from his battle with Yukio, Mephisto greets him, already anticipating his questions. He reassures Rin about his friends and the Coma Sword, but cryptically muses, "Which Rin stands before me now, the normal one or the dangerous one?" Despite his reputation as the omnipotent schemer, Mephisto admits that he cannot predict everything. He doesn't foresee the future, he merely sees possibilities. His inability to guarantee outcome is why, later in this chapter, when he shows Rin the devastation caused by the Gehenna Gate, he admits that his plans have failed. This chapter becomes a turning point when Rin finally asks about the secret of his and Yukio's birth. Mephisto's response is nothing short of theatrical. He bursts into a manic laugh, exclaiming, "How long have I waited for you to ask me that?" He then hands Rin the Kamikakushi key, a tool capable of traveling across time and dimensions, revealing that Rin has had the means to uncover the truth since his first day of class. Before Rin departs, Mephisto offers him a sobering lesson. Humans often avert their eyes from reality, twisting it to suit their comfort. If you wish to move forward, you must accept reality as it is. When Rin protests that the truth should have been given to Yukio instead, Mephisto replies with chilling nonchalance, "I've already tried that many times." Finally, when Rin accuses him of being cruel, Mephisto grins and replies, "Of course I am. After all, I am a demon." Once Rin departs, a Maimon suddenly appears on the balcony, and Mephisto praises him for his role in helping Rin and the others break Yukio out. However, their exchange is cut short when a Maimon grabs Mephisto and shakes him furiously, demanding, "Who is that girl?" At first, Mephisto seems confused. Then, with realization, he answers, "Oh, you mean Shiemi Moriyama?" He starts laughing, but abruptly stops, his expression darkening. "Now you're asking me that," Mephisto chides him. "I can't believe you didn't notice sooner. The world is such that we can no longer avoid a fight. You have little free time left." This ominous statement hints at the looming war and the inevitability of choosing sides. Even those who desperately wish to remain neutral, like a Maimon, will soon have no choice but to act. And this was definitely part of Mephisto's plan when he first called a Maimon to Asia. Evidently furious, a Maimon leaps away, shouting, "I can't believe it! I can't believe you didn't tell me! I hate you!" As Mephisto watches a Maimon leap away into the distance, he quietly reflects on his brother's words. Hate. What a human emotion. Though Mephisto often acts the most human of all the demons, this chapter really reminds us that he is, at his core, still a demon. And demons do not feel emotions the same way humans do. However, a Maimon's outburst subtly suggests that the line between humans and demons might not be as rigid as it seems. After a Maimon departs, Mephisto senses yet another presence. Speaking to himself, he wonders out loud, who could it be now? Moments later, Dr. Newhouse appears, informing him it's complete. Newhouse admonishes Mephisto for lazing around while the world heeds for destruction. But Mephisto, ever the mastermind, brushes him off, gazing into the distance with a smirk. "Don't worry," he says confidently. "The pieces have begun to fulfill their function." The next part delves deeper into Mephisto's enigmatic abilities as the King of Time and Space. Using the Kamikakushi key, Rin travels to the past and encounters a version of Mephisto from 40 years ago, identical in personality, but dressed in the era's fashion. Samael clarifies that this isn't his current self, but rather a version of him existing at that point in time. And while not explicitly stated in this chapter, one intriguing interpretation of Mephisto's abilities is that he doesn't physically project his current self into other dimensions. Instead, his powers may work by having his past or future selves report back to him, keeping him informed of events across different timelines. Another possibility is that all versions of Mephisto, past, present, and future, are connected, functioning like a shared hive mind that pulls information seamlessly. But regardless of how his abilities work, Mephisto reminds Rin of an essential truth. No matter which version of him Rin meets, his identity remains the same. He will always be Mephisto, Samael, the King of Time. He assures Rin that he will serve as his guide on this journey, but not without a chilling reminder that this journey will end in tragedy. In flashbacks, Mephisto's relationship with a young Shiro Fujimoto takes center stage. Initially antagonistic, their bond grows through the dark secrets they come to share. Mephisto embodies the trickster archetype and offers Shiro a deal. While Shiro sees it as a chance for freedom, Mephisto presents it as another piece in his cosmic chessboard. When Shiro demands to be made an X-Wire to escape Section 13, Mephisto bluntly warns him that the path is no ticket to freedom. He explains, when you become an X-Wire, you sign a Morina's contract. Your life will become collateral. Even as a paladin, you'll swear fealty to the Order and remain its dog. You will never be free. Undeterred though, Shiro boldly accepts the gamble. Intrigued by his resolve, Mephisto laughs and agrees to recommend him, but not without adding a chilling condition. If you ever yield to a demon, even once, you must grant me one favor. Shiro accepts, unknowingly sealing his fate. Later, Mephisto walks Rin through the abandoned Section 13 facility, explaining the horrific experiments conducted to create vessels for demon kings. Mephisto reveals that Shiro himself was a clone of Azazel, the king of spirits, created in this very facility. Horrified, Rin accuses Mephisto of allowing such atrocities, and Mephisto responds coldly, "It's all for Lucifer. Everything has existed merely to buy time until Lucifer explodes like a big bomb." In the next part of the story, we gain a deeper look into the strained relationship between Lucifer and Mephisto. Though they are brothers, centuries of drifting apart in ideology have rendered them incapable of understanding each other's perspective. There is an immense gulf between Lucifer and Mephisto, not just in ideology, but in their capacity to connect with others. Lucifer, despite his deteriorating state and obsessive pursuit of a perfect body, still clings to an ideal of vindication. He truly believes that his suffering will one day be rewarded. Mephisto, on the other hand, is coldly pragmatic, seeing his brother's obsession as a threat to the world that must be managed, no matter the cost. This chapter begins with Mephisto and the Grigori observing another failed attempt to stabilize Lucifer's deteriorating body. When Mephisto approaches him, he speaks bluntly. "Lucifer, if you abandon that body, you will be free of your suffering. Leave Asya alone and quietly return to Gehenna. You can acquire a new body later." Barely able to speak, Lucifer responds with visible effort. "Samael, you are so cruel. Someday I will be rewarded. I believe that." Unimpressed, Mephisto declares the experiment over and leaves. On their way out, Lucifer briefly locks eyes with Rin, and the intensity of his presence forces Rin to his knees. Observing this, Mephisto remarks, "Did you sense it? That overwhelming power? That is Lucifer's unrestrained wrath. Can you see now why I've gone to such lengths to temper his crazed ideas?" This moment forces Rin to confront the enormity of Lucifer's obsession and the catastrophic potential it holds for the world. Here, Rin's idealism clashes with Mephisto's pragmatism. Unlike Rin, who is driven by a strong sense of morality, Mephisto views the world through the lens of cold logic and survival. Rather than pretending to empathize, Mephisto responds bluntly, "I don't get it. I can't say I understand how you feel. After all, I am a demon." To Mephisto, concepts like good and evil are meaningless. Demons, like Mephisto, exist outside human morality, bound not by rules but by their own purpose. Whether humans perceive this action as good or bad is irrelevant. Only the results matter. This detached pragmatism not only highlights Mephisto's otherworldly nature, but also deepens Rin's frustration. Feeling unheard and disgusted, Rin storms out of the dimension, angrily calling Mephisto a creep. And this same indifference to morality is reflected in the deal Mephisto previously made with Shiro. It's a reminder that no matter how friendly Mephisto may appear, he is still a demon, and demons always collect their debts. In chapter 106, Mephisto subtly nudges events towards outcomes he deems necessary. When assigning Shiro Fujimoto as Shura's foster parent, Mephisto feigns that no shelters are available and offers the asylum as the only alternative. Fully aware of Shiro's hatred for the facility, Mephisto manipulates him into taking in Shura, ensuring events unfolding according to his plans. It's often the case that while the people he nudges towards a desired outcome are reluctant participants in his plans, it often ends up benefiting them in some ways, and in that sense, Mephisto's intentions are not necessarily malicious, he's simply looking at the bigger picture. Another section of the story I want to focus on is Mephisto's confrontation with Satan after the latter seizes control of Section 13. With the demons instinctively all drawn to their creator's overwhelming presence, chaos spreads rapidly, leaving humanity desperate to regain control. The True Cross Order sends Mephisto to negotiate with Satan, the only demon who isn't siding with him, and sets the stage for a pivotal encounter that highlights their vastly different worldviews. As the meeting begins, Satan finds Mephisto's alignment with humanity strange. Sneering at him, he says, "You're a demon, yet you side with humans. What a weirdo you are." Indeed, by opposing his own father, Mephisto appears to reject his demonic nature, straddling the line between loyalty to his kin and his pragmatic alliance with humanity. Intrigued, Satan offers him a place at his side, asking, "You seem powerful. Wanna join me?" Mephisto, ever composed, politely declines. "I appreciate the invitation, but I'm dedicated to the contrary, so I must decline." Satan remains unbothered, his confidence unshaking. But shifting the conversation, he demands the supplies he previously requested from humanity. Mephisto, seizing the opportunity, proposes yet another deal: the supplies in exchange for the children Satan and his followers are holding hostage. However, before Mephisto can even finish, Satan cuts him off with a devastating attack, grazing Mephisto and obliterating a nearby helicopter. Laughing maniacally, Satan declares, "Exchange, don't make me laugh, you forget your place, fool." This moment illustrates Satan's philosophy of might makes right, a belief that powers alone determines authority and justice. For Satan, strength is the ultimate measure of superiority, and those who possess it have the right to impose their will. He has no interest in diplomacy or compromise because, in his eyes, his overwhelming power renders such tools unnecessary. In contrast, Mephisto relies on strategy, alliances, and manipulations to achieve his goals. For Mephisto, control is not dictated by brute force, but by subtle influence and calculated intervention. This clash between intellect and raw power really highlights the divide between the two characters. Mephisto's failure to sway Satan reveals the limitation of his cunning when faced with an opponent who operates under the principle of absolute power. While Mephisto thrives in a world of unpredictability and delicate balance, Satan's philosophy of domination leaves no room for negotiation or even cooperation. As the scene concludes, it becomes clear that this confrontation is not just another battle of wits, but a reflection on their core philosophies. Despite his power and intelligence, Mephisto's smooth words and methods are ineffective against a force of nature like Satan, who believes that might alone is all that matters. This scene reinforces the duality of Mephisto's character. Though a demon, he rejects his father's destructive worldview and aligns himself with humanity, not out of altruism, but out of a need to maintain balance and order. It's a rare moment where Mephisto's reliance on diplomacy and intellect is challenged and, honestly, falls flat. As the events leading to the Blue Night unfold, Mephisto navigates the chaos with his trademark cleverness. While sitting at the council, he carefully hides the truth of Section 13 by shifting suspicion onto Yuri Ijin, claiming she may have invited Satan into the facility and accusing her of witchcraft. To further deflect blame, Mephisto reveals Yuri is pregnant, a shocking revelation that destabilizes the council further. But beneath his political maneuvering, Mephisto's true objective still remains unclear. But if you've read ahead, you know what it is. Meanwhile, Mephisto sets his own schemes into motion. He tasks Father Fujimoto with retrieving the Coma Sword, the blade he created centuries ago. During the rest of the flashback arcs, Mephisto largely observes from the sideline but intervenes at critical moments only. After Rin loses control upon witnessing the violent circumstances of his birth, Mephisto steps in to seal his heart, preventing further destruction. When Rin collapses, Mephisto transports him to a dimension within the Grigori where Shiemi is training. This calculated move helps Rin regain his composure and resolve to face the truth of his past and protect those he loves. However, this moment of calm is fleeting. As Rin prepares for what lies ahead, chaos erupts when Satan breaks free, unleashing his power in a desperate search for Yuri and a body to possess. This marks the true beginning of the Blue Knight's devastation. The destruction escalates as Yuri gives birth to Rin and Yukio amidst the flames of Satan's overwhelming power. Mephisto finally makes his grand entrance, declaring, "Operation Blue Lightning is kaput. I'll take over from here." Mephisto directs the weaker exorcists and doctors to withdraw, explaining that no human weapon, not even the Paladin's holy sword, can destroy Satan's child. He suggests the Coma Sword, a weapon he forged 150 years ago as the only viable solution. With this sword, Father Fujimoto strikes baby Rin's heart, sealing his demonic power within the blade. When the Paladin proposes destroying the child to prevent further catastrophe, Mephisto vehemently opposes the idea, pointing out the inhumanity of such cruelty, but using rationality to convince his audience. This is a human child. Such suffering would cause unimaginable psychological scarring. Do you want to create another Satan? Or another Lucifer? Through careful persuasion, Mephisto shifts the council's decision, convincing them, almost as if it were their own idea, to let the twins live. Placing the newborns in Yuri's arms, she thanks him, yet he offers no reassurance, warning her ominously, "Do not thank me yet. Another threat comes." At that moment, Satan appears possessing the Paladin's body. Chaos ensues as Abel calls Mephisto father before Satan fully takes over. This confirms that Abel was indeed Mephisto's clone, as was hinted at during Shiro's and Yuri's exorcism ceremony earlier. In the ensuing battle, Satan attempts to possess Shiro, forcing Mephisto to act once again to shield Yuri from the destruction. As Satan's possession of Shiro intensifies, Mephisto steps in to protect Yuri and the twins from one of Satan's violent outbursts. Shiro, through sheer willpower, manages to repel Satan's influence, but the situation remains dire. Shemihaza arrives, delivering a grim ultimatum. Yuri must sacrifice herself to sever Satan's connection to the mortal world, and the twins will remain in custody until the Order determines their fate, possibly exorcising them. Shiro, refusing to accept this, makes a daring move to escape with Yuri and the twins, determined to protect them at any cost. As the battle reaches its climax, Mephisto becomes the focal point in the effort to defend Asia and counter Lucifer's devastating plans. When Lucifer prepares to go supernova, unleashing a catastrophic light-based attack, Mephisto intervenes, placing a powerful seal on the attack to contain its destruction. Lucifer, unfazed, sneers at the attempt and mocks Mephisto. That seal won't hold for more than 20 seconds. Mephisto, unfazed, replies with his signature confidence. But brother, 20 seconds is enough. In that brief window, Shemihaza, a descendant of the Emperor of Creation, launches a final attack against Lucifer. Overwhelmed, she pleads with him in his last moments. "Please, Lucifer, do not be afraid of death." After Shemihaza collapses from her efforts, Mephisto approaches her and quietly commends her. "You did your duty well." Looking out at the aftermath, Mephisto reflects with finality. The long night has come to an end. As the dust settles from the Blue Night, Mephisto begins tying up loose ends. When Shiro Fujimoto arrives at Mephisto's home carrying the newborn twins, Mephisto greets him with sarcastic scorn. "You've got some nerves showing up here. Bringing Satan's brat won't absolve your betrayal." Shiro counters, revealing that he separated the heart and body to protect the twins and admits that handing them over to Mephisto is simply the safest option. Smirking, Mephisto replies, "Outwitting people is my specialty. and I hate that you saw through me. As Shiro prepares to leave, Mephisto reminds him of their past deal. If you ever yielded to a demon, you'd owe me one favor. Anything I ask. Shiro protests, insisting he hasn't yielded to any demons. But Mephisto counters with cold logic. Satan's children are half demons, and even they are dangerous, yet you spared them. If you truly haven't yielded, then kill them right here and now. When Shiro refuses, Mephisto declares triumphantly, "In that case, I hereby name you the 251st Paladin. You quelled the Blue Knight, exorcised Satan and his children, and defeated the witch Yuri Egin." Shiro is stunned. Becoming a paladin had been his dream, but with the title comes a bitter price. By accepting the honor, he indirectly condemns Yuri as a witch. Furious, Shiro snaps. "So you'll blame Yuri for everything and make me a hero? Give me a break. She made a mistake befriending a demon and paid for it, but she did more for those kids than we ever did. We didn't do anything." Mephisto coldly replies, "Indeed, Yuri behaved like a mother, sister, and a lover to Satan. Whatever she felt, whatever tears she shed in secret, the results are what count. And her actions were no different from those of a witch. Treasure her good intentions in your heart, but the world demands clear measures." Gesturing to the twins, Mephisto adds, "And I have no intention of killing these little darlings. So you will raise them." With a snap of his finger, baby supplies materialize around Shiro. Mephisto continues, his tone shifting to one of calculated severity. "Satan, Lucifer, or both will return one day and bring calamity with them. When that day comes, I will need a weapon. Raise them to be strong weapons." Shiro protests, "But that's 2 requests. You only get 1. Delighted, Mephisto replies, "No. It's 1. What I'm actually asking you is for you to swear lifelong fealty to the Order as its dog. You asked me for a favor, and in that moment, you forfeited your freedom forever." With a maniacal laugh, he taunts Shiro once more. "Man, do I pity you. You hate demons, yet you made a deal with one. Yuri failed. Will you?" By framing Shiro's defiance of the Order and care for the twins as yielding to demons, much like the Faustian Mephisto Pheles, Mephisto traps him in a no-win scenario. The deal initially appeared fair, but Mephisto ensnares Shiro with the fine print, revealing that the favor Shiro owed him came with far greater consequences than anticipated. That being said, Mephisto is still far friendlier than the character in Goethe's Faust. In an interview, Kazue Kato even says that if she'd drawn him based on her own personal taste, he would have ended up a realistic middle-aged man. So she made his age more ambiguous and added some extra charm to make him more approachable. So it's clear that he's supposed to be much more likable. But anyhow, back to the events. Later, Mephisto appears in Gehenna before Satan himself in one of the most important flashbacks regarding his characters of the entire manga. Bowing to his father and the god of demons, he speaks calmly. "Father, I understand your desire for a body, but running around killing humans isn't the way to get one." Satan dismisses him, vowing to find a vessel once he regains his strength. But Mephisto offers yet another proposition. "Allow me, Samael, to prepare a vessel for you. One of the twins you father in Asia carries your flame, and I will raise it for you to inhabit." But before Satan can respond, Lucifer appears, boldly interjecting. "I will prepare an even better body for you, my lord, and I won't fail to complete it before Samael does." Satan, pleased, declares, "Lucifer, I'll like you. I will wait, but I don't trust Samael. I will only accept your proposal if you get results." And just as the gods of Olympus never trusted Loki, the demons in Blue Exorcist are equally wary of Mephisto. A fitting reflection of how well he lives up to his other namesake. And with that, Satan commands every demon to devote their resources to this effort, turning the preparation of a vessel into a competitive race. This sequence raises compelling questions about Mephisto's true intentions. Who is Mephisto truly loyal to? To Shiro, he claims he wants to raise Satan's children as weapons to fight against Satan. Yet, to Satan he offers Rin as a vessel, seemingly furthering Satan's plans. Is Mephisto merely buying time to strengthen his weapons against Satan, Or is he genuinely willing to hand over the twins as part of a greater scheme? But as the fallout from the Blue Night settles, Mephisto's careful orchestration of earlier events become evident. He entrusted the Koma sword to Tatsuma to guard Rin's sealed heart and gave the Kamikakushi key to Father Fujimoto, ensuring everything would align when Rin's powers awakened. His instructions were precise. Fujimoto was to raise Rin strong and healthy for the day when Mephisto's plan would unfold. When Rin returns from the past, shaken by the horrors he witnessed, Mephisto greets him with mockery. Did you find the answers you were looking for? How does it feel to see so many people die? Perhaps you wish you've never been born. Frustrated, Rin demands answers. What do you want from me? Are you making me a vessel for Satan or a weapon to fight him? Mephisto replies calmly. Strictly speaking, neither. Even I cannot see beyond this point. The key will take you wherever you desire. The future is up to you. This moment leaves Rin with the full weight of his choices, showing that despite Mephisto's manipulations or even calculations, Rin ultimately holds the power to decide his own fate. This is another recurrent theme in Mephisto's character, the choice of free will. He can guide people towards his desired outcome. However, he doesn't know that these outcomes will happen for certain, as humans have the power of free will, which, according to him, is what makes this game interesting. When Satan resurfaces and launches a devastating attack onto the Exorcist, Mephisto arrives just in time to warp space around the attack, halting its destruction. True to his dramatic flair, he declares, "Sorry to keep you waiting, all my Mephisto fans out there. Wasn't it about time I showed up?" He doesn't come alone, bringing reinforcements, including Demon Kings, Shemihaza, and even the Grigori guards. His arrival shifts the tide of the battle, rallying the Exorcist and restoring their hope. With a theatrical exclamation, he leads the charge. Let's go kick Satan's butt together. As the battle rages, Mephisto freezes time and space around Satan's attack, giving Lightning and the Exorcist precious moments to formulate their strategy. However, the effort takes a visible toll on him, as maintaining the barrier strains his body. When Shemihaza's Descendant begins the final sealing ritual, Mephisto uses his spatial magic to link the battlefield to the Heavenly Garden, enabling the crystallization process to bind Satan's flesh. The immense power required for this effort causes Mephisto's body to show signs of decay, emphasizing the limits of even his extraordinary abilities. After Satan's body is destroyed by the crystallization, he begins devouring the land in search of a new vessel, creating a warped space filled with chaotic energy. Mephisto becomes trapped within this dimension, remarking on the absurdity of Satan's delusion of godhood. He thinks he can rule over everything? That's a good one. Satan, as the creator and ultimate being in the demon hierarchy, seeks to impose his will on both Gehenna and Asya. By trying to unite the two worlds and rule as a god, Satan effectively rejects the natural order of duality, light and dark, chaos and order, demons and humans that Mephisto values. When Mephisto curses Satan for playing God, he's actually rejecting the idea of a single omnipotent force controlling everything. This fits with Mephisto's belief in unpredictability and the freedom of individual to shape their destiny. Satan's desire to dominate everything contradicts this belief, as it eliminates the chaos and free will that Mephisto thrives on. However, one could also argue that in his own way, Mephisto sometimes plays gods by manipulating events, controlling time, and forcing others into course of events that he chooses. But that's a story for another video. But back to Satan's innards. Caught in the turbulence, Mephisto experiences a fleeting vision 2 years into the future that caused so many fans to speculate as to what this vision actually was. However, he quickly dismisses it, reminding himself that the future is always changing. Cackling to himself though, he declares that in this case, he's gonna have some fun. Using his powers, Mephisto quickly repairs the rupture in time and space with his Super Kleiber glue, another nod to his Germanic influences. After rescuing Rin from Satan's innards, Mephisto reunites with the Exorcist. Mephisto then explains the grim situation. Satan's territory now saps the power of high-level demons, leaving them vulnerable. Visibly drained, Mephisto summons his bed and his anime body pillow, nonchalantly declaring, "I'm pooped," and he promptly falls asleep in the middle of the battlefield, much to the Exorcist's frustration. But his lack of strength doesn't stop Mephisto from utilizing his vast network. Later on, as Satan's influence spreads across the globe, Mephisto requests aid from nearby nations, though reports indicate this situation is growing dire. The Order begins organizing teams to strike at Satan's heart, with Mephisto assigned to Team B. Their mission: navigate the labyrinth surrounding Satan's heart and destroy it. However, Satan's territory continues to weaken high-level demons, limiting Mephisto's involvement, and despite his diminishing power, his presence will probably remain essential to the team's strategy, as they prepare to face the final confrontation against Satan. So far, at the moment of recording this video, the manga stops at chapter 155, and it seems he will take a backseat in this part of the story. But as Mephisto would say, the future is always changing, so who knows? And that brings us to the current point in Blue Exorcist. Mephisto's actions have always been shrouded in mystery, leaving us to wonder, what is his ultimate goal? Will he truly side with humanity, dwarf Satan, and protect Asia? Or is he orchestrating an even bigger move to topple his father, possibly becoming an even greater threat? Could Mephisto himself be the final boss of this story? Reflecting on his name, Samael, we see another layer of meaning to Mephisto's character. In religious tradition, Samael fulfills many roles, often appearing either as a savior or a harbinger of death, ensuring the balance of creation through purification and destruction. Interestingly, Samael is sometimes associated with Satan, much like Goethe's Mephisto Pheles in Faust, who serves as a representation of the devil. Either way, Samael's role in religion is one of duality, where destruction ultimately leads to renewal, which makes him a figure of judgment who serves the greater good. It's hard not to wonder if Kazuo Kato intentionally chose this name to mirror Mephisto's morally ambiguous actions in the story. But with plans within plans layered into every move, Mephisto is as unpredictable as he is cunning. His charm lies in the fact that no matter how much we think we understand him, there's always a lingering question about his true intentions. Because Mephisto Pheles is the type of character that's always one step ahead. Or is he?